Welcome to the next Cigars, Liquor, and More.
Yay!
Today, we're going to have a La Barba Ricoche Cru Mexi-Sol Coronita. With it, some Aberlour 12-year-old double cask matured.
What? More scotch?
More scotch.
Thanks for tuning into Cigars, Liquor, and More as we join our buddies Bill.
Howdy.
And our other brother Darrell.
Smoke up, Johnny.
Relaxing through 2022. Broadcasting from our studio speakeasy as they talk about cigars, liquor, and anything else that comes to mind.
All right. Well, the La Barba Ricoche Cru Mexi-Sol Coronita is the blue label Ricochet. So they've got another Ricochet. They came out with a couple other ones after the standard orange label. This is the blue label.
Blue.
It's a 54 by 5.5. It has a Mexican sun-grown wrapper, an Indonesian binder, and fillers of Dominican Republic, Nicaraguan, and U.S. Pennsylvanian. Don't forget that this is made in the Tabacalera William Ventura factory, and Tony Bellado is the blender.
Nice.
MSRP is $8. Should be a medium bold cigar. So with it, we have a medium to bold Scotch. This is the Aberlour Speyside single malt, double cask matured, 12-year-old, bottled at 80 proof. MSRP is $55. So a lot of them going to 70 to 100. So it's kind of nice. This one's still at 55.
Yes.
And for 12 years.
For 12 years.
Now I kind of go by the rule of thumb given to us by Randy Sullivan.
That if it's less than 18, you get a long time in jail.
It's
no, Randy didn't come up with that.
No,
sorry.
he didn't. He's willing to pay as much as $10 a year. So a 10-year-old whiskey probably should not cost more than $100. And you know what? I'm gonna project that to Scotch. I know Scotch takes a little bit longer to age, but I don't care. I'm cheap.
Well, yeah.
Did you do? You did a cold draw, of course, right?
Oh yeah, of course. Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
Well,
I got air.
so it's spicy on the lips. You get the spice right away, and it's a very woody, very earthy. This is super earthy.
But it's not a flavor tipped cigar.
No.
It's just that's what you get off of it.
Yes. Let's light it up.
Light it up.
All right. So,
Well, we have come into a rash. We've come into a rash.
that doesn't sound good.
That doesn't sound good at all. But we've come across quite a few scotches that have had different barrel finishes,
Yes.
and that seems like a relatively new thing. So I looked it up, and sure enough, it is right about 2019.
Okay.
So this is an article that comes from June of 2019 from ScotchWhisky.com. Good site to get that type of information from. The article is titled "New Scotch Rules Aim to Add Flexibility."
Profitability.
There you go. So Scotch producers are now free to use a wider variety of casks for maturation, including ex-tequila and Calvados.
Calvados?
Calvados casks following a change to the law. The amendment to the Scotch Whisky Technical File, revealed exclusively to ScotchWhisky.com by the Scotch Whisky Association, henceforth known as SWA, gives specific guidance on which cask can be used to mature or finish Scotch whiskey, and the new text as follows. The spirit must be matured in new oak and or in oak casks which have only been used to mature wine, still or fortified, and or beer ale, and or spirits, with the exception of wine, beer, ale, or spirits produced from or made from stone fruits.
Wow. Okay.
Beer, ale to which fruit flavoring or sweetening has been added after fermentation.
Okay.
And I'm all aboard on that rule.
Yeah.
Spirits to which fruit flavoring or sweetening has been added after distillation. So you can use any type of casks as long as it's pretty much within those rules.
Yeah.
And where such previous maturation is part of the traditional process for those wines, beer, ales, and or spirits. Regardless of the type of cask used, the resulting products must have the traditional color, taste, and aroma characteristics of Scotch whiskey.
So that's completely subjective. So a tasty person comes in and goes, nope, not Scotch.
Well, I'm sure the folks at the Scotch Whisky Association have very,
Sommeliers of sorts.
small definition of what tastes like a Scotch.
Well, when we talked to McAuliffe, he was not McAuliffe of McAuliffe Cigars, McAuliffe of writing reviews, and he's a sommelier, and he
Yes.
also does whiskey. He was saying that what happens is you have categories, and certain things have to taste certain ways to fall in that category. So if a taster wouldn't call it a Scotch, then they're saying we're not going to call it a Scotch either. I mean,
That's what it sounds like.
easy enough. I mean, we already do that, I guess.
But I really think it is based upon the Scotch Whisky Association. I think they're the ones that have to determine that.
Sure.
Right. The amendment has been lodged with the European Commission by the UK's Department for the Environment, Food and Rural Affairs, DIFRA, following public consultation, and is now law.
You have to wonder why they were like, nope, not stone fruits. Like, why are stone fruits? Do they just, what
don't
is
know.
it about them?
What's a stoned fruit?
I don't know what a stone
A fruit you
is.
throw stones at?
I don't know.
Okay.
But why?
Apparently they do.
Yeah, and they don't like them.
I don't know. Maybe it's associated with the poor. In practice, the new rules means that distillers can now mature Scotch whiskies in a much wider variety of casks, including those previously used to age agave spirits, including tequila and mezcal, Calvados, barrel-aged Shikasha, something else I can't pronounce, and something else I
Shochu.
can't pronounce, as well as some other fruit spirits. It has been thought that the changes would open up the possibilities of maturing Scotch and casks previously used for barrel-aged gin, but the SWA has since clarified that gin would be excluded since barrel maturation is not a traditional part of the
That's true. Barrel-aged
production
gin
process.
is not standard.
It's not a thing.
Yeah. Well, plus that would add, clearly they're trying to avoid adding all these artificial flavors. And artificial just being fruits coming from another barrel that you just throw in the Scotch.
And I'm good with that.
And I get that.
Yeah.
But I have to wonder, so of course, same thing with gin. All the herbals you just throw in it.
Yep.
Now you're kind of, you're getting away from where you are.
Yep.
Now I got to know what a stone fruit is.
Yeah, we need to.
Well, I mean, why it's different.
We need to figure that out and what it imparts or what it means.
Well, I mean, they list fruits in the second and third points. Why stone fruit in the first ones? I don't know. I mean, stone fruit's still fruit, so I don't know.
It's very specific.
Mm-hmm.
It's got to mean something
It has to.
them.
Yeah, I'll look that up.
The rules also do not allow the use of ex-cider casks, despite the launch of
Because of the fruits.
cedar cask finish single malt by Speyside, single malt Glenmorangie in October of last year. Previously, the rules did not forbid the use of specific casks, but the SWA's legal team advised distillers to use casks with sufficient evidence of traditional use within the industry, such as ex-sherry or ex-bourbon casks. And we've had sherry, we've had cognac, and we've had
a
oak.
lot of fruit flavors.
Yeah. No, but it does impart a different flavor to it, and I think that's kind of where they need to go, right? Because you've got all these, especially in America, you've got all these whiskeys that are coming out
Yeah.
now, just a wide variety of flavors. And in Scotch, you've got two broad categories: peat, not peat, and then within that you've got light, heavy, and just
It needs
it's
more.
just so limited in the way that it is.
So you think they did it for competition, or think they're like, hey, you know what? There's a lot of cheap barrels out there. Let's start using them.
I think they did it because they're losing market share.
I think so too.
And
I agree.
And you can kind of tell that if you've gone to a liquor store, you've looked at liquor store shelves over the years, you have seen whiskey
Bourbon take over.
Regular whiskeys or U.S. whiskeys and bourbons.
Yep.
Just go from one aisle to 2 and 3 aisles.
Yep.
And scotches that were a full aisle, have now gone to about half an aisle.
Yep.
And they're just, I think they're losing market share, and they realize they need to do something to compete with all the stuff that's happening around them.
What's funny is it was kind of long ago.
And the American market is a huge market.
Yes. Very, very. I think it's, now I don't want to overstate it, but I think it is something like 70% of all their scotch is sold here.
Pretty huge. I don't remember what the percentage was, but it's pretty darn huge.
So I remember coming out of college, or even in college, I was a spirits person. And there was a lot of beer. Oh, drink a beer, go get a kiss of beer, blah, blah. And I was all about the vodka. Oh, vodka. And there was an explosion of vodkas.
Yes.
Like, just the vodka aisle went from, hey, there's the 8 to 10 major brands, and then there's the black label.
Yeah, went from 8 foot to 20 foot.
And to 3 aisles. Mm-hmm. And then all of a sudden, the whiskey aisle started to do that. And by all of a sudden, I mean, probably as long as it took you to age vodka into whiskey. But it was a shift that happened probably 20 to 25 years ago, where beer just became not the thing for this generation, and spirits was the thing for this generation. And now I think it's exploded, because all the people who were like me, who were graduating and moving to spirits from beer, now have enough disposable income to buy spirits of high quality, right?
Exactly. Yeah.
And so I think that's why your market has exploded. But and probably comes about 4 or 5 years before. I think the start of it was 4 or 5 years before me. I was an early adopter, but I think it happened a little bit before me.
Those that are 5 to 10 years younger than we are,
they're beer people.
They're about experiences, right? So you're getting that age group that are coming into cigars. You're getting that age group that are coming into spirits. And they're starting to appreciate some of the finer things, because they've been going through trying to collect all these experiences, and you can do that from the comfort of your home or a lounge
with cigars and liquor. But beer, there is better beer than other beers. But I don't know that it has there's diversity that spirits
specialty beers.
Right.
But I don't necessarily think that it has. I don't think that it's taken off as much as the variety of liquor.
So we should get some tasting notes on these guys.
Yes. Let me set this to the side. I need to get some thinking in here.
Yeah, the Aberlour, it's a Speyside, so it's not quite as salty as you might think. On the nose, though, it doesn't come off hot at all. I mean, you could take a deep breath and not cough or choke or anything. It's wonderful.
And it's got a very light aroma.
It is. It's a light, fruity aroma.
You can smell that. You smell the Scotch note to it, but it's very light, very comfortable.
Yes, I like this very much. Well, Aberlour is one of my favorites. Mm-hmm. So it is a little fruity at the back. At the front, it's not so fruity. At the front, it's almost tangy, it's not fruity at the front. At the back, it starts to get a little fruit. I like it, but it's really mild. It's not so sweet, actually. Some scotches can be pretty sweet. Not quite rum sweet, but pretty sweet. This one's not sweet. This is a very middle of the road. It's not dry. It's not sweet. The La Barba, we're good. We're probably half inch in now.
Mm-hmm.
So the cold draw was really earthy, really spicy on the lips. Once it's lit, some of that spiciness on the lips it's not as strong.
Yeah, the spiciness isn't as prevalent. The earth is there, and I get kind of a nut flavor out of it, and maybe even an herb. And I've never gotten something I would classify it. Oh yes, I have, because grass is classified as an herb. So I've gotten grass before, and I've gotten wet leaves and hay. It's none of those. I don't know.
For me, this is earth. It's really smoky. For one, I'd like to add that this kicks out a lot of smoke. This is a very smoky stick, but it's got it's still very earthy. So the cold draw wasn't fooling me. It stayed.
It got you some of what you were expecting.
Yeah,
and you always appreciate that.
I do kind of like that. But there's like a paper or a cardboard with it. It's like earthy with a little cardboard and a little must. That's what I'm getting.
Yeah, there is a little must in that.
But I'm liking it so far. Then this is not the first Ricochet I've had, but this is the first of the blue label Ricochet.
Blue. Yeah, same here. Yeah.
And this is definitely different than your standard orange Ricochet. I mean, this is not the same stick. So I guess it is a little special, as he was calling it.
Definitely a little different.
Yeah. So, good start.
And that's what you want if you get a different color band.
Retrohale, not terribly aggressive. It's a pretty mild retrohale. There's a little pepper in the back end. It's not going to choke you. It's not going to make you sneeze. Yeah. It's real nice.
No, you can do a retrohale pretty easy on this one.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's pretty good. Now, with the Scotch, the combination, I feel, is simply neutral. There's nothing. In fact, I've had, as you can see, the Scotch already.
Mm-hmm.
I think it may be detracting from the Scotch. I think I like the Scotch better on its own. Because I really like this Scotch, and right now it's sort of meh. And that's disappointing. So I think the cigar is taking the Scotch down a bit.
So
it's making it milder, if that's what you like.
When I take a drink before I take a puff, some of the earthy flavor tones down a little bit. When I do it the opposite, the earthy flavor bumps up a little bit. And I kind of like it the opposite.
Okay.
I kind of like that extra little kick of earth, which is weird that it would be doing that.
Yeah, but since I do already very much like this whiskey, I am a little disappointed that it kind of flattened it a little bit. Like it took some of its liveliness out.
Right.
Okay. Well, to quickly continue just a little bit before break.
Yeah, let's. Well, we can make through this pretty quick. Don't worry.
I don't know that we're in a hurry. Calm down.
Okay. In January 2018, a report by the Wall Street Journal claimed that Diageo, the world's biggest Scotch whiskey producer, had formed a secret task force to explore possible changes to Scotch's strict production rules, including finishing Scotch whiskey in casks previously used to mature Don Julio tequila, which the company owns. At that time, the plans were said to have been rebuffed by the SWA. Most distillers remain supportive of Scotch whiskey's strict production regulations, but some have privately expressed concerns recently that the tight rules governing cask maturation, in particular, might be putting Scotch at a commercial disadvantage to rival whiskey categories.
Absolutely.
Yes. And that's the whole market share thing.
Diageo has enough might. That's a big company. Good one, by the way.
It's huge.
No, but I mean good dividend. Like they're a dividend payer.
They pay high dividend.
I owned Diageo for probably 10 years, and they paid out like clockwork. They paid out better than Exxon.
And you owned them before I mean, they bought after you had said you sold. They had started buying more and more companies.
No, they're
they were
even
just
bigger.
going over
They're
and
even bigger than when I
crazy.
bought them.
Yeah. This amendment provides, this is a quote, this amendment provides clarity and some additional flexibility on the range of casks in which Scotch whiskey can be matured, said Karen Bates, SWA, Chief Executive. Look at them being forward, having a female as a Chief Executive. Good for them.
Yeah, but it's a Karen. Go figure.
Quote, yeah, quote, well, Scotch. Quote, the change is consistent with Scotch whiskey's heritage and traditions and strengthens our foundations for the future, end quote. SWA Director of Legal Affairs, Alan Park, added, and another quote, a wide range of wine, beer, and spirits casks have been used over the years to mature Scotch whiskeys, and clarity about what is allowed under the law should be provided in the Scotch Whisky Technical File. Which
They have a technical file.
they have a technical file.
It's a weird name for their rules.
Well, you know, Scotch aren't known for being that technical, but sure. And I think that existed before the EU did.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
The amendment is consistent with the continued use of all categories of cask where there is evidence of long-standing traditional use in the industry. But it will also create more flexibility, particularly in the range of spirits casks which can be used, subject to the number of safeguards which protect the reputation of Scotch whiskey. The reputation.
Reputation.
And thus ends the article. Reputation.
Yeah,
I'm bothered by that.
I guess they want to remain.
They have a reputation for being
unique.
pretentious, is what it is.
But not just that, but you know, they want to remain to be recognized as premium, right?
Premium, but still compete in this world.
Right. So
Because
they're trying to walk a
they
tightrope.
They have a whole lot of competitors out there.
Yeah, and undoubtedly, when scotches tend to be $20 to $30 more than whiskeys, when the whiskey is just as good as a scotch now,
Yeah.
and you're not having to pay up for it,
Yeah.
because you don't have to pay for as many years. You know, well,
And once you get over that thing of, oh, it's Scotch, so it's got to be good. Well, there are some scotches that are crap. Well, at least in my opinion.
in your opinion, most scotches are crap.
It's true, but
Or
it's true.
tolerable.
It's true, but I was being nice.
Mm-hmm.
It's much the same way with Texas whiskeys, right? Once you get over the fact that it's not Kentucky,
Yeah.
and you taste the flavor, you start to care more about the taste than necessarily where it's made. Then you start realizing Texas whiskeys are good.
And don't forget, some of them can suck too. We've had
Some of them, yeah, some of them,
ones.
some of them. Can
We
be
just don't
pretty
cover them
bad.
here.
Oh no.
like we said, we're not here to tell you what sucks. We're here to tell you what's good.
Yeah. So it's, I think they're trying to go through a little evolution
Yeah.
in the way they do things so that they can take back some market share that they've
Right.
lost because
They don't want to grow rings. They just want a slightly longer tail.
Yes. Yeah. But it's been the Wild West in the whiskey and bourbon
Oh, yeah,
world
it
in the
has.
U.S. for a while. And when that's your marketplace, when that's the vast majority of your marketplace,
And
you
you're
have to
losing
make
share.
you have to make rules to change. They did, and you know that is, like I said, we've done several shows where we've had different cask finished
Yeah.
scotches, and I really hadn't seen that before.
Mhm.
So
That's why you looked it up.
that's why I looked it up.
Yeah. Well, apparently none of them have been finished for more than 2 years.
Well, it said that it has been done before, but you know there weren't any rules around it. And now they've wrapped some rules around it.
Yeah.
So it's just I don't pay a lot of attention to Scotch anyway, but it never caught my eye until this past year when we've started seeing them more.
Well, you know, to be fair, I think for the scotches we do have, we don't have a lot of scotches on the show. We probably have more rums than we do scotches. you know,
And I'm
the
totally fine with that.
The new cask finishes have not been like, oh, what a revelation! This is so much better. They've been like, it's not great.
Yeah.
Some of them have been good. Some of them have been okay. Some of them have been not so good. So, you know, suffice to say, I've purchased more cask finished scotches than we've reviewed.
I do like, it's not necessarily a finish, but I do like that quarter cask scotch that we had.
That was different, though, right?
It was different.
Because that was a standard barrel. It was just
Right.
a smaller barrel, so it aged faster, because
Right.
that's something else they need.
That's something else they need
They
to
need
do.
faster aging.
Yes. And I thought it was really good.
It
for
was
a
really
Scotch, yeah.
good.
So
It was.
I thought it was better than this. Not that this is bad.
You know
This
what?
is good.
You should try this again when you're not smoking the cigar. It's different.
Okay. We are going to take a little break, and we will be right back.
All right.
Enjoy the any time of the day cigar. Drunk Chicken cigars are nub-alicious, so good you'll smoke it to a nub. You can get 10% off your order at drunkchickencigars.com by using the promo code CLM2020.
All right. Well, find us online in many places, pretty much anywhere you type cigars, liquor, and more. Sign up for our giveaway, our weekly giveaway. We'll get you 2 free Drunk Chicken cigars and a bunch of our swag. Bill,
And who knows what else?
who is our winner?
Darrell Allen.
Oh, it's a good name.
Good. Congratulations, Darrell. Get in touch with us so we can send you your 2 Drunk Chicken cigars, CLM swag, a bunch of other stuff, just like Darrell just said.
Well, since his name's Darrell, if he doesn't call or whatever email, I think I should smoke the cigars.
You think you should get those?
Yeah, it feels right.
Darrell, you better hurry up and get in touch. He gonna smoke them. He's gonna use the loophole.
Okay, so about halfway through, I will say I did get a little transition. It's a little less earthy, and I'm getting a little toast now. But other than that, it's been a really delightful cigar.
It is a really nice cigar. I think you're right. I should try the Scotch
On its own.
with a different
Yeah.
cigar or on its own,
Just on its own.
to get a better feel for it.
Because it's a much different scotch in
It's-
the absence of the cigar.
It's not a primo pairing,
No, definitely not.
but still, I mean, not horrible. Not horrible.
No, but there are things missing in the scotch that I miss. And so I know that and miss it. So it's not going to get better no matter how much I smoke.
Don't know what to say about that.
No big. Sometimes they don't pair up that well. At least it's not making it worse.
Amen to that.
It's just different.
Amen to that.
All right.
Well, I do have to do
A little correction.
a little correction.
That's a minor correction.
It's minor. I could probably let it go.
Yeah,
and
I'm
do
just gonna
just
see
fine.
that. I got a
but-
little thing like that, but it's just gonna go away.
So the flamethrower here, which
That looks like a teardrop.
yeah, I'll adjust it later. But it had stopped
It's
working.
a little high, yeah.
It had stopped working, and I got it going again.
You can solder with that, I'll tell you that.
Yeah, no shit.
Okay.
I mean, yeah, you sure can.
Well, I have an interesting article that you pulled up in front of me from ShakenNewsDaily.com. Exclusive Treasury Wine Partners with Martha Stewart on 19 crimes.
19 crimes.
Okay. So Treasury Wine Estates is partnering with Martha Stewart on a new release for 19 crimes. Similar to 19 Crimes' ongoing partnership with Snoop Dogg, the label's partnership... Hey, wasn't she in a commercial with Snoop recently?
She's been on several commercials with Snoop.
Yeah.
Yeah.
With Martha Stewart and Marquee Brands, which runs her eponymous brand, will support the release of 19 Crimes Martha's Shard. It's launching this month in California and will ramp up to national distribution February 1st, carrying a suggested retail price of $12 a bottle.
Which is pretty reasonable with something with Martha's name
You
on it.
want to be reasonable. Now's not the time to lean forward. There's a lot of inflation out there.
If Martha Stewart is anything, it is very unreasonable.
I don't know.
She is not known for being reasonable.
She's not. But I don't dislike the Martha. I don't. I think a lot of her, even though she may seem aggressive with the way she wants everything,
she's an
particular.
ass. She knows it. She lives up. She owns it. She lives up to it. Go on about life.
But I think there's one thing that's critical that she lives up
been
to
jail?
that she lives up to and is important and makes a difference for me. And that is, I think
How to fold sheets.
she definitely appreciates the sort of the mantra, the primary goal of manners is to make the person you are hosting feel comfortable. So a lot of people use manners as a weapon, right? They make the person feel uncomfortable because they're not familiar with the way proper manners are. And that's the exact opposite of what manners are about. Manners are there so you're not making the other person feel uncomfortable because you're not doing weird crap in your house. Right?
Manners maketh man.
I think she adheres to that principle. I don't think she uses manners as a
I'll buy
weapon.
that. I'll buy
She uses her personality as a weapon.
Oh, yeah, she does.
But I don't think she uses manners as a weapon. And for that, I applaud her.
But her, shall we call it, stick-to-itiveness is what made her what she is.
Absolutely.
And has made her a household name.
Mm-hmm.
And even though she went to jail for, I don't know, 6 weeks, 6 months or something, whatever it was.
Whatever. For the sake of $146,000 in fraud.
I really don't think it hurt her that well.
No, I don't think it hurt.
Yeah.
She probably met lots of other really great criminals in jail that she could hook up with. Like, hey, now that we're on the same page, we can make a little day, a little bit of cash.
And that was a federal crime, not a state crime.
Right.
So better jail.
Club Fed.
Club Fed.
And white collar at that.
Bada boom.
Yeah.
No hardened criminals.
No,
there.
I know she's going to be a difficult person to get along with just because she's very opinionated and wants everything just her way. But that's what made her brand great.
Mm-hmm.
But I also really do appreciate that she's not using manners as a weapon. I don't think she does. I think she understands what manners are for. Anyway, that's just me.
No, I'll buy that.
Okay, so just like her creative collaborator and friend Snoop, Martha Stewart also embodies the spirit of 19 Crimes, disruption and culture creation, says Treasury Wine Estates marketing president John Wardley. We couldn't be more excited to welcome another absolute icon of modern American culture to the 19 Crimes family. 19 Crimes sells more than 2 million cases in the U.S. annually. So that's cool. And
So do you have?
Now I can't remember
do
the
you have
commercial.
to spend time in prison in order to collaborate with 19 Crimes?
it probably helps. I know that was probably on Snoop's list. Snoop's list. Oh, she's done some time. She's okay. I mean, now I can't remember. I can't remember what the commercial is. What's the commercial where she and he are in?
Oh, they've done chip commercials, they've done pet commercials, they've done beer commercials.
Okay.
They've done a lot of commercials together.
Maybe that's why I can't remember which one it was for. I remember thinking, oh, that's an interesting partnership.
I like Snoop Dogg style.
Oh, man, I sure do too. Which is hilarious because neither of us are stoners or drug users
or black.
Well, if you don't include cigars and liquor.
I think he'd sit down and enjoy some with us.
Yeah, I think he'd be offering us more than we'd offer him.
Probably very true, very true. I got a haircut.
You did. So I don't know. I don't think we're gonna get to sit down with Snoop anytime soon. But I think it'd be a very pleasurable afternoon to have a stick with some liquor, some gin and juice, so to speak.
I'd really love to sit down with Morgan Freeman's a big cigar guy.
Yeah.
I'd love to sit down with Morgan Freeman. God, that boy, he's got a great voice. I love his voice.
To be fair, there's almost nobody I wouldn't want to sit down and have a cigar with. That's why we go
true
to
enough, true enough.
That's
Yeah,
why
yeah,
we
yeah.
go to the cigar clubs and sit down and have sticks with people we never met and talk with them. I like sitting around and talking.
And events and yeah.
Yeah. So, to be fair, you don't have to be famous for me to want to sit down and have a stick with you.
True enough. True enough. I'll give an amen to that.
Pass the plate.
Grace, pass potatoes.
We no. We'll give it a little time. We're still in probably the middle third.
So I had more in the liquor category, but that's all I printed out for the show.
That's fine.
But we've covered so much of cigars and so little.
I
of
was thinking the same thing.
liquor, so I started looking at some liquor specific news, industry news, because I mean it's half the show, and we really enjoy it.
Yeah, and we haven't done a Better Know Your Distiller in a while. I was going to throw one of those in there.
Yeah, I like.
I was
those.
going to
We
do
need that.
Yellowstone because they're coming out with their 150th. But they're not in any of the stores near me yet. So when I find it, I'm going to throw that in. I've done the background on it already because I was thinking the same thing. Like, we need to do more
Yes, do more
in the
liquors.
liquor because it's been a while since we've done one. And it needs to be done.
It does.
Mm-hmm.
It does. Look at that. I want to take a picture of that.
Okay, all right.
There.
I will say this.
Block out
Even though-
Darrell's face. Get the
even-
background.
Even though the Aberlour is missing some of the tasting notes with this cigar, it comes off really mild. It's not hot in the front or back end.
No.
So
It's got a quick finish. It doesn't linger, and it doesn't. You don't feel it. It's still got that Scotch flavor to it.
yeah,
It's got a little bit of the Scotch aroma. The aroma is still just so light. It's almost not there. I'm really surprised about that, especially out of a 12-year. Yeah.
well, I'll leave it here,
Cool.
and you can try it with just a glass, no cigar, and then you'll probably.
I'll
be
do
like,
that. I'll watch
okay.
a Lucifer.
There you go. Good call. So you think is it too early? Oh, you have not watched the 4th season of Cobra Kai yet, have you? Okay.
Nope.
It might be a little too early to discuss that and how many people are still binging it, so I'll leave that alone. We'll shelve that.
Well, and when we do talk about it, we can throw out spoil. Hey, there's spoiler alert for Cobra Kai. So
Right. Click plus 30 seconds or something.
yeah. But we haven't. We've been binging.
Okay.
We've been binging Lucifer.
Okay.
Once Lucifer's over, then we'll start
All
with
right.
Cobra Kai.
Well, good binge. That's a good show.
I really like it. I really like Maze.
I'm kind of disappointed at how much TV I watch now. Like, I didn't watch that much TV before this Wuhan virus thing happened. And now I watch a lot of TV.
I find it easier to watch TV when you can binge it.
Oh, absolutely. Then I don't have to remember the recap or wish they had a recap. I know what happened because I just finished it.
Exactly. Well, and you can, with the streaming thing, you could do skip intro.
Yeah. Yep.
So,
Yeah, one thing I have done a little bit more of, because I kind of stopped gaming. I just haven't had time to play some of my favorite games. But my son got an Oculus for Christmas, and I downloaded Walkabout Golf, and I've been playing a course a night. And
nice.
whatever the course is on the far right, the one with the windmills,
Yes.
I've gotten that one down to a -1.
Oh.
I finished that one -1 under par, and I think that's considered a hard course, but we'll see.
So
It's a fun little. thing.
We've been through all of the ones you get with it, both the easy and the hard. So the ones at night are harder than the ones during the day.
Yeah.
So you got I don't know, like Tourist Trap is the first one you do. The one during the day is pretty easy, and then the one at night throws in some stuff. As you go along them, the night ones can be really challenging. One of the fun ones that I liked with the windmill was when you hit it, it had to go. You had to hit onto the windmill blade.
Yes.
And it comes up and screws.
Yeah. So if you don't time it to hit the blade that's coming up, you fall off a cliff.
Yes.
So you have to time it to where the blade knocks it back into the course. Yeah.
It's a really cool game.
Yeah, they added this inclusion of wind, which was interesting. I like that. But I did learn that pretty quick.
Yeah.
But there's some that are really hard.
Now, have you have the ability in that game to fly?
Yeah, I've flown around, sure.
Okay. Yeah.
There's a couple courses I haven't found a single ball on. So they have lost ball, sort of Easter eggs. You can go find a ball, and then you can choose to play with that ball, in the future. Mm-hmm. So there's a couple courses where I'm like, I didn't find a single ball. I guess they're really well hidden, or they're in weird spots or something like that.
Yes.
So
you got to look up, you got to look down, you got to look sideways.
Oh, I've done that. But
probably the hardest one for us to find balls on was the Gothic one, the one with the castle.
Okay, I've got most of those. It's the one after that one. I have like 0.
And the very last one, very last course was difficult as well. We went ahead and purchased they've got 2 courses for purchase.
Right.
We went ahead and purchased one of those, and I think the graphics are better. How it feels is better. They spent some time doing that
For some extra DLC, yeah.
Yeah, so you can, as opposed to the ones you get with the game. That first one that we purchased, was like a Babylon Gardens or something.
Okay.
It's
So
really nice.
They increased the resolution?
It seems that way.
Okay. What are they, like $5?
It was $2.99 or $3.99.
Okay, because it can't be that much because the whole game's only 15.
Right.
Okay. So, if you haven't got a VR system yet, this one's the cheapest one, but you have to link it to a Facebook account.
Has to have Facebook.
They're talking about taking that requirement away because it's almost, it's a problem with, whole monopoly thing, all that stuff. But
and it's a problem with children because, there are a lot of kids that are 16 or under that are asking for these things for Christmas or the birthdays.
Right.
And their parents don't want them to have social media accounts.
Right.
So that's, there's been some angst surrounding that. There are VR systems that are open source, so you don't have to do things like that.
But they start at 800 versus 300.
Right.
So,
and now the system is worth $800, $1,200 easy. They do sell it for less than what it is that they make it for. So they are,
because don't forget, you're the product.
Yes, you are the product.
It's not the product. You're the product. When it comes to the Oculus is not the product. The Oculus is the freeway
the vehicle
to get you as a product onto this platform.
And they've got a bunch of we don't do this thing, but they've got a bunch of interactive stuff. They've got chat rooms where you can walk around and do things, talk to people, and just whole worlds that are that way. We're not all into that. We did enjoy, we took ours to your place, and we played with Alex, the golf game. And you can, you got an avatar head, and you've got a hand with a golf club. You can see them do that. You can see them when they hit, so you can see, so the person that goes in front of you, you can get an idea of maybe, do I want to do that? Do I want to do something else? What do I want to do?
Like in a golf game.
Yeah. And you can, when you hit the A button, I think it is, you go big, you see the whole course, and you get your scorecard, and you can see, lost balls and, all that good stuff. And when they go big, you see them go big. It's cool. It's cool.
Yep. So I plan on making the next purchase. Tover Saves the Universe, which is a Rick and Morty product. Basically, it's
Nice.
Justin Broilan from Rick and Morty made this game. The animation looks an awful lot like it. He says crazy things like they do in there. So I'm looking forward to that. But I'm gonna wait.
Me and your son, turns out we're playing the same other game called Warplanes.
Yeah.
Which are World War I planes that you have missions. You could do quick plays where you're just playing around. You could do missions where you earn coins, so you can buy more planes. You can upgrade your planes, things like that. And then they also have a multiplayer, which eventually me and Alex will do that and play a game, together on that, much like we did with the golf. It was funny with the golf because he didn't want to play golf, and then we started doing it, and he really enjoyed that. So he didn't want to play, so we just did the front nine. And he's like, "But there are more holes. Let's play more."
Yeah. You're the one who said you didn't want to play. Mm-hmm. Well, he's like that. He doesn't want to do anything until he enjoys what you make him
Quick
do.
judge,
Yeah.
and then changes later.
Yeah.
A little annoying, but I understand it.
But we added a VR system to our family this year, and I like it. And it was, 300's not going to break the bank. If it does, probably have bigger problems in choosing which game to get.
Yes.
But I've liked it. I'm probably going to play more of it.
Some of them can get pretty intense.
Mm-hmm.
And they have a good variety of free and for purchase. The free ones are, they don't last that long. You make it through them pretty quick, and they're not. One you should check out if you like puzzles.
I do.
One you should check out
Like
is
a Myst kind of thing?
Yeah, Myst is on there, by the way.
Yeah.
The old Myst game
saw that.
is on there. But I Expect You to Die.
Oh, so I did see that, and that one's on my list. It's a kind of a joke for 007, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, and you go on these missions, and you have to, in order to get through the mission, you have to take the clues and complete tasks and
Solve a
things
puzzle
like that.
and-
Yeah, solve a puzzle.
And you're very likely to
It's
die.
a lot of mind games, but it's very interactive mind games. It's really cool. I'm stuck on one. I can't figure it out. I'm on a train. I've got to communicate with somebody, which I've already done, but then I've got to get the person who went and killed the person I contacted. I got the recording, so I'm good with that. But now I got to make it out alive, and I can't make it out alive. Yeah. And you got to think outside the box. You got to be able to recognize patterns. It's
That one's on my list too. I noticed it.
frustrating and stimulating all at the same time.
Yeah, so I looked up, top 5 games. When the 2021 ended, they were doing top 5 games, and both of those were on it. Tover and Expect You to Die were both on the list. So they both made my short list because I am good at taking advice. So.
And they must have done really good with that first one because they've already come out with a second one.
Okay. Yeah, that makes sense.
But I haven't finished the first one yet.
So there was a game called You Only Live Once. It was on the PC 15 years ago. It was hilarious. It was also a 007 kind of game. It was like a first-person shooter, but it was more like Hitman, and where you have to. There's some stealth. There's some, there's a variety of things, not just run and gun.
Yeah.
And it was awesome. It was hilarious. There were times I would stop and just listen to the henchmen talk to each other because their conversations were hilarious. Sometimes you had to because you had to wait for them to finish their conversation and break up so you could get through that door or something like that. But other times, I just catch somebody's conversation and just sit down and hide and wait for a while, listen to them. It was that weird.
Did you try to do burger joint down the street?
It's just all kinds of stuff. There was a conversation about how ridiculous it was that they were, because it was they had the classic, volcanic island layer, and he's like, it was, they were talking about how it was ridiculous how much maintenance it takes to deal with lava. It was hilarious. It was really good. So, also a fun game. And we're back to talking about tech. Well,
as we will do.
It's more like gaming than tech.
Still technology,
I suppose. Well, we're in the final third. You have some tasting notes? I feel like it's gotten milder. I feel like it continued to get milder as we went.
Well, it did. I didn't mention it before, but as it went along, I started getting a little bit more of a coating in my mouth.
Yeah.
Which I attributed as being, typically attributed as being, heading towards bold.
Well, yeah.
This didn't really head towards bold. I still put it in a medium category, but that coating has been dissipating really fast with the liquor.
Yeah.
With the Scotch, so works out pretty good. As far as the tasting notes, I kind of stopped thinking about it. It just became
a cigar, right?
Yeah, it just became a comfortable cigar, and I just honestly kind of stopped thinking about it, which isn't good for the show, but it's good for the cigar.
Yeah, I mean that's a real valid thing to say. Hey, this cigar has been so easy to smoke. I haven't had to think about it.
But it does want to stay lit.
Well, I haven't had that problem. I'm not sure. Do I need to start reminding you when to take a drag?
No, please don't. Benny. Oh, well, I know we're not at the end of the cigar, but we are at the end of the show.
Yep.
So why don't you, since you have been thinking about it, why don't you give us a recap?
All right. Well, I mean, the cigar is really nice. It was a good, smooth cigar. It's real easy, and didn't like you said, we didn't have to think about it too much. I didn't like it with this Scotch. I think the Scotch should probably be drunk on its own. It's a great Scotch by itself. Maybe doesn't pair well with cigars.
Can't wait to try the Scotch on its own. You need to pick up this La Barba Blue.
I feel better.
Heck yeah.